Welcome to Worldwide Geocaching Podcast, brought to you by My Podcast Radio. I'm your host, HikerJames52.
And CrazyCritter66.
From the studio in Naples, Golden Gate, Florida, the Sunshine State. Grab your favorite beverage and enjoy our episode. All right, here we are again, another episode. We just really didn't have much to talk about today, but we're going to talk about something. Let's talk about something.
What would you like to talk about?
What do our listeners want to hear about?
Geocaching?
All right. Hey, we're good at that. This is episode 7. Yeah, episode 7 already. We didn't go geocaching this weekend. That's why we don't have anything to talk about.
Well, and that's why I said I promised not to sing if anybody would send us their adventures in geocaching.
Oh, no, you're going to sing again?
Well, nobody sent us any messages or letters.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, you know...
Hey, y'all making it hard on me here.
Okay, here's the deal.
Okay,
I promised I wouldn't sing if somebody would send us anything, which they didn't.
Uh-huh.
But me and you suffered enough when I sang with my tone deafness. So how about this week you sing them a song?
Oh, man.
Sing something. Gotta get them stories. Come on, you can do it.
I know one.
All right.
We are geocachers. Boom, 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 boom.
There you go. Okay, now if you don't want to hear either one of us sing, out of the millions of geocachers out there, somebody has to send us a good story.
Oh, right.
And then we will never, ever, ever sing again. We promise.
Let's talk about it. Let's go back and talk about some of our geocaches, or some of our favorite geocaches that we found. You know, we might have to go all the way back to Ohio to dig them up, but we talk about the Block 9. I mean...
Quite a few times.
We might as well talk about one of them anyway. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, we go back to my logs here and see. Oh, first next month you'll have your premium membership, so you can log that one that was for premium members only.
You mean the one that I signed the log for and then found out I couldn't log it?
Right. Yeah. That was the one.
Yeah, and that put me on an odd number again.
Well, we get some more, because I'm thinking we just go put a whole list on our phone of all the...
That'll work.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back. We got quite a few of them in Florida here. We did some Bennett's. I think, I'm pretty sure you went with me on some of them. Bennett's, so nerdy.
Yes I did.
Them was some good ones. They're all archived now. They're not out there. No Horsing Around. Wasn't that the one I slid down the hill?
That was the one.
Oh, boy.
The one that we really needed a rope for, but didn't have one.
Yep. Okay, so I had a Lucky 13, a Hiker James 10, Hiking Around, Hiker James 1, Smalley. Let's talk about Smalley. That one was up there in Lockington Reservoir. And the one that was in the briars, bushes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I had to beat the briars down just to get into it. It wasn't a very big spot, you know, maybe 20 by 20 spot out in the middle of the field.
Mm-hmm.
And I beat myself in with just stomping on them to get into it. And a lot of fines on it too, but I mean, it was just ridiculous what you had to get, because when I came out, there wasn't really any good way to go into there. And we listed additional hints as a micro camo, lots of thorns. And we're going to be
yeah, we were in a sticky situation.
Sticky situations. One fella, he put on here talking about a lot of thorns. We couldn't decide on the best route in, and took all possible wrong ways until we were thoroughly razor wired all over. After giving up twice, we got lucky, spotted a container just before giving up.
Yeah, that one was a real mess.
Another one put on here, wow, what a hunt for this one. Once we were near ground zero, our GPS was bouncing back and forth. We found the thorns and searched and searched. We were starting to feel a little defeated when I decided to expand our search. After a few more moments, I had the cache in hand. The log was wet, so we left a new one.
I don't know how you could have missed the thorns.
You can't miss the thorns. Here's one that says, out for some geobiking on a rare, nice weather day in January. Wow, thorns! Lots and lots of them. Fortunately, I had a heavy coat and long pants on. I had to try to. I'd hate to try this in shorts.
Now, I did go out there in shorts that day.
Uh-huh.
Oh, boy, did that hurt.
Found a container laying around and put it somewhere less likely to wander off. Another one wrote, the thorns are evil. But we finally found it. Looks like a small animal has been chewing the container.
Somebody was just plain mean to put that out there.
Yeah. I don't know what made me think to put that out there like that, but another one says, followed the clear path left by another recent cacher through the thorns. They were gone, but found the cache.
He got lucky.
This one says, yikes, thorns, not funny, but we got it. Oh, that was caching with Moral Mushroom Girl.
Oh, yeah?
And Otis. I don't know who Otis is. I know
Moral Mushroom Girl.
Yeah. Another one wrote on there, James wrote this one on here, says, cache is still there, watch for thorns.
That was just mean.
Oh, boy.
That's not the only one, though. I mean, we ran upon a few that had been in really thorny places.
Yeah. That's when it was transferred. I transferred it from HikerJames to Jeeping James.
Now, see, that's when I learned you don't go geocaching in shorts. Always wear pants because you never know what you're going to get into.
And no one, he says, damn, thorns, thanks for the cash. Log was wet, but we found it. Nice cache. Terrible location and thorns are a real problem. Oh, that's enough of that one. And
yeah.
that was a good one, though. I mean, everybody had a comment about the thorns.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But they didn't give up. They went in to get it.
Oh, yeah, they did. I wonder what happened to Smelly. Smelly is the one that I made out of, what was that?
Oh, that was the Glade can, wasn't it? The air freshener.
Yeah, the air freshener can. We try to get all our money's worth out of them air fresheners because they cost so much.
Recycle.
Yeah. We got this one, and after it was done with it, I took my little... Well, first thing I did was punctured it to get the air out of it, what was left. I drained all the air out I could. And I took my little Dremel, put a grinding wheel on it, and I started to cut out the top part that kind of got the button on it, and then I smoothed it down so it wouldn't cut your finger, and made a cache out of it.
Worked well.
And I took that out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, this Lockington, it's a forest. I mean, it's really thick with everything out there. Not too many thorns in there, though. But anyway, we took that and put some stuff in that and put the cap back on it. And we took it out in the middle of nowhere and just threw it down on the ground. And I took you up there to find it that one time, I think.
Yeah, I think you did.
And couldn't find it. I couldn't find my own cache. Now, what are you going to do?
You drop it on the ground, though, and you got to think animals might be pushing it around or whatever.
Right, but no. It was where it was supposed to be. We just couldn't find it. The one fella said here, this was a good one. Though it was trash, but I said, well, what about the name? Bingo!
Uh-huh. It's all in the name.
Uh-huh. I think it's the only thing out there in that area, too. There wasn't no trash out there except that.
Yeah.
You got a favorite point from this one person here. Not what I expected. And another one says, now we know why it is smelly.
Oh, you got it? Yeah.
This one spotted it at 40 feet off. Too much fun on this one. We were all over the place looking for Smelly. My cords had me over here, and more mushroom grow over there. That was a good one. Anything, you could do a geocache out of just about anything.
Mm-hmm. Oh, how about the unusual ones? Let's put a parking meter out in the middle of the woods.
Hey, yeah, let's do that.
That'd
be hard to find.
Oh, so obvious, but yeah, it'd be kind of cool. Go out there, see like 20 acres of nothing but a parking meter.
Right.
Big mouse trap.
Oh man, big mouse trap.
That thing was huge.
About the size of a sheet of plywood.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then made a mouse trap like out of it, and there's all kind of pictures of that. People putting their head up underneath the trap.
That was actually kind of cool.
Yeah. The one I like the best is that one, it's a birdhouse, I guess. Well, maybe just been a house, but it had the windows and the door and all that on it, and a chimney coming up out of it.
Ah, okay.
And the guy took an electric antenna out of a car that had those, he pushed a button and the antenna comes up and then it goes down. And he put that in there and mounted it with the container on the end of it. And you got to pull up to it with your car and use your jumper cables.
Oh, yeah.
And you hook the red to red and black to black, and the antenna comes up out of the chimney with the container on it. It was like a bison tube, I think. So then after you sign the log and everything, you put it back on the antenna, and you reverse your cables to put black to red and red to black.
Right.
And it'll go back down.
That was interesting. First time I've ever seen anything like that one.
These people got some good ideas when they go making them.
Oh, yeah.
I took one of those yellow kitty litter buckets. What was the name of them?
The Tidy Cat buckets?
Yeah, Tidy Cat buckets. I took one of those and put some stickers on it, saying, this is a geocache and all that. We filled that thing up with all kinds of stuff. Just a lot of stuff we had. Took it out there in the middle of nowhere and just set it on the ground.
Mm-hmm. And
it disappeared.
Yeah.
I don't know if somebody just decided that, hey, there's a bunch of swag for me, I'm taking that with me. I'm pretty sure that's probably what they did. But the one I got on my YouTube channel is one I made out of a tape measure.
Oh, yeah.
And taped it up with camouflage and hooked it up and wired it and everything to where I could put it up in a tree limb. But that one was so wrong because I did it in the fall. There wasn't any leaves on the trees.
Uh-huh.
And never thought, when summertime comes,
you wouldn't be able to see it.
Hard to find.
Right.
But the GPS will take you there, so if you look up in there, you can still see it, but it was really hard. I got one that's made out of a water faucet, an outdoor water faucet, like you'd have on the side of your house. And I've got tubing, and I mounted that on the end of that pipe, and then drove it into the ground. And I named it Where the Water Runs Dry.
Yeah.
And that was neat because the hole, where you put your garden hose and screw it on, it was big enough to put just the log sheet, a small nano log sheet, and you stick that up there. And then I took a Coke bottle cap, and that fit the threads on there. And so I just put that bottle cap on there for the cap. And I don't know how many people would try to turn that knob to get something to come out. I don't know. I haven't got it put out there yet, but
find a place for it and we'll get it out there.
Yeah, that's right. We found a lot of cell phones while we're geocaching, where people would take the battery compartment, take the battery out and put a log sheet in there and put the back on it. I had a phone. It was a flip phone, and I had it all made up. I had a geocache in it and everything, and was tromping out through the woods there, placing all these geocaches in this one area. No, I said, we got 2 more to go. They said, no, we don't. We only got 1 more to go. And I said, no, we got 2 more to go.
That's when you took your son with you.
Uh-huh. And he caught the bag. He had like a Walmart bag.
Mm-hmm.
Had all these geocaches in it. And I guess he caught it on a twig or a thorn or something,
And ripped
it
it.
ripped the bag, and the cell phone fell out.
Boy.
We tried to retrace our route to find it. Never did. I mean, we was all over the place. It was rough out there. I mean, there's a little pond, and we walked all the way around that pond instead of going straight line and all that. I was trying to get my 520 feet.
Yeah, I think so.
So we spent probably another half hour, 45 minutes looking for it, and we gave up on it.
Well, somebody might have found them a good geocache to use.
Made one out of a pine cone. That was a weird one because I was wanting to put it there underneath that walnut tree and see how long it'd take people to figure that one out.
Something obvious, but something somebody wouldn't think about.
I don't think you would.
I don't either.
I've seen them laying underneath a pine tree.
No. Boy, those are a mess.
Yeah, you gotta pick up every pine cone out there to find it.
And hopefully there's not 500 of them.
Yeah. You'd have to go out there once in a while and kind of clean it up where there's not so many.
Mm-hmm.
At one, I found an electric drill underneath a bridge. It was out in the country. Went out there and I'm looking, and the GPS took me right up to about the middle, not quite to the middle of the bridge. And I seen a rope tied to the bridge rail and going down in the water. And I thought, that's it. So I pull that rope up, and there's a basket at the end of it. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. How's anything going to keep from getting wet in that basket? Well, when I got it all the way up, I found out what it was. It was a little minnow catcher.
Yeah.
So and I thought, wow, this ain't right. So then I got thinking, well, maybe it's under the bridge. And I went down underneath the bridge and looking and everywhere, and I found it up in a little hole up in the bridge beams.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an electric drill that somebody took the battery out of it and used the bottom of it for a container. That was really weird.
See, there you go again. Recycling.
We haven't found anything like that down here, though.
Not down here. We haven't. No.
I don't know what it is. It's always micros and smalls.
Because up north they have more of a sense of humor and imagination. Nothing personal against southern people, because, but northern people do have more of an imagination.
Well, it's like, like these power runs. That one we did that one day. How many was there? 15?
15 of them.
In was it mile and a half?
I think so.
Yeah. And I seen one over towards Miami, a power run. And if a half an inch was 5 miles, this thing had to be 50 miles long.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. And there's got to be a guardrails.
Yeah, it was really, really large.
Yeah. I want to go over there and do that, but I'm afraid that we couldn't do it all in one day. And I wouldn't want to drive 80 miles and only have half of them.
Yeah, and I don't want to go to Miami. Nothing personal against you
Oh,
people either.
But it was a 2-lane highway outside of Miami. It wasn't like,
now, if it was on 41 going toward Miami, where there's really nothing at,
well,
that
it was
would
another
be bad.
highway going away from Miami.
Okay.
So, yeah, that would be kind of neat. You could get, well, how long would it take us to get to 15 of them? A half hour?
I think so.
Yeah. So if you get over there early and start it, and maybe take somebody with you, you can probably take turns jumping out of the car.
Yeah, as long as the other person don't decide to take off before they get back in.
Yeah.
That would be so cruel.
Who do we know we could trust to do that?
I would trust you.
Yeah.
Because you got to live with
That's
me.
what I do. I just drive and you jump on and out of the car.
Okay.
Sign our names to it. But the thing is, though, if we both can jump out of the car, we can both sign it without having to go back to the car. I don't know. It's just, there's just a lot of them out there. Different, unique, homemade, store-bought, you name it. But there's nothing more fun than geocaching. It's an addictive hobby. Don't you think?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I just don't want to go out there and try to look for a penny.
No.
They got penny caches that just looks like they're laying on the ground.
Or how about a little fly or a June bug or...
Spiders.
Yeah.
They've got snails.
Yes. Seashells, all kinds of things.
Yeah, and it's crazy.
Oh, that's it. A seashell on the beach.
There you go.
Oh, boy.
Faux brick.
Faux brick.
Yeah.
Yep.
I made that faux brick one time. I took a piece of foam from work when I was working, and I dug it out, underneath there, and mounted a little container underneath it, and then I camouflaged it with spray paint. And it was the size of a brick, like it wouldn't be in around your fireplace.
Mm-hmm.
And I took and hid that, and then somebody says it's not there. Well, I went out there and looked, and it was still there. They didn't know what they were looking for, and a regular brick. I took a rock, and took a drill bit. And I wished I'd had a masonry bit when I did that, but I didn't. So I took a regular drill bit, and I drilled a hole in that rock. Took me forever, and to where I could get a micro in it. I took epoxy and stuck it down in there and shoved that nano in there to where you could take the cap off. And then I put that by two big rocks and a small rock, and then I put it there. Cork camel. You remember that one? The guy posted on there, it looks like a bomb.
Yeah, I do.
It was camouflaged and everything, but...
Should have had geocache written across too.
Yeah. Old Smiley. I took a peanut butter... Well, not peanut butter. Yeah,
it was a peanut butter.
Peanut butter container. It had a yellow lid on it. And I took my black marker and I made a smiley face out of that lid. And then I camouflaged the rest of it. And I just laid it down by a tree that fell down. The best one was the, I think we talked about that last week, was that pigeon.
Did we?
I thought we did. It was a pigeon, like you buy at the store, to a decoy.
Right.
And it had a little clip on it. We still got, we talked about it. I think we talked about them here. Drilled a hole in his chest and put a 35mm film can in there. Camouflaged it. And just took that little clip on there and hung it on a tree. People said that they got spooked when they walked up on it. We had some post office caches that you had to figure it out. It was kind of like a puzzle cache.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't no good at that.
I had to go to the post office and go through the instructions. So many rows down, so many rows over, and then that post office box number was part of the coordinates. Then you got to go out and find it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was good. There's a P.O. Box Pleasant Hill, P.O. Box Piqua, P.O. Box Tip City, P.O. Box Troy, Covington, Pleasant Hill. There was a lot of them.
Huh.
Took an M&M container. You've seen them, the
little
tubes of M&M's, a little snap cap on it. Made a geocache out of that, camouflaged it, and I wired it to a tree. Somebody said it was missing. Okay, so I go out and look for it. Sure enough, it's missing. Well, I found it, looking around and everything, and it looked like a squirrel or a raccoon or something. They got a hold of that and chewed it all up. I mean, because they could still smell the chocolate in it.
Right.
You don't want to use anything that's had food in it, because especially if it's plastic, because they'll smell that food on there forever.
And you'll end up losing quite a few containers.
This one was, this one here was you'll like this one, Mocapulance or something. Remember that house we went to in Greenville, Ohio? The whole backyard was nothing but a maze of...
Oh, with the statues and the homemade stuff.
Yeah.
And right.
They give you a sheet of paper that's got all the things on there that you're supposed to look for. There's supposed to be a license plate hanging at the garage window, and there's supposed to be... Oh, man, what all else was it? There was all kinds of... about 15, 20 different things there that you're supposed to find.
Mm-hmm.
There was a sign that told something, and you were supposed to take the year that it was made and all that. And by the time you get done, you got your coordinates. Well, we had all but a couple of them, and somebody says, "Had you found it yet?" No, not yet. Come here, I'll show you where it is.
No, we were standing right over top of it,
Yeah.
so we was getting close to finding it.
Yeah.
But he gave it away.
Right.
Now, we would have found it. It may have taken us another 5 minutes, but we could have done it.
What about this favorite one we've had, Stones Don't Talk?
Stones don't talk.
Yeah, it was out in the country. There was a pile of rocks, and we all over them rocks looking for it.
Is that the one that I turned over and went, here it is?
No.
Not that one?
No, this one was one of them telephone poles where they connect telephone wires together. It's about like a PVC pipe about 4-inch diameter, and they stand about 4 feet up in the air.
Okay, yeah,
They're usually red and white.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about now.
And the lid on it, the cap on that thing, if you pulled that cap off, there was a geocache in there.
Mm-hmm.
And how many times we went to that place looking for that in the rocks. But it says Stones Don't Talk. And we never thought to look over there at the telephone
No,
thing.
we didn't. And it was there the whole time.
Yeah. And then the GPS took us right past it, too, a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
That perfect camping spot. That one back there behind that store. We walked through the weeds and everything else. I think that's when your mom called you on the phone and you was trying to talk to her while we was looking for it. Thorns and everything else in there. And we get down there and there it is, just laying on the ground.
Yeah.
And we signed along and everything, and then when we come out, there was another car sitting right next to ours. Some guy sitting in there, kind of shady-looking guy with a ball cap on.
Shady looking.
And he says, "Did you find it?" So he was another geocacher. He seen somebody else was in there looking, so he sat in the car and waited till we came out.
Maybe he was afraid if he walked up on us, it might scare him because we were out, or it might scare us because we were out in the woods.
Remember Wally World? That was a rock in a pile of rocks.
That might be the one I was talking about a while ago,
You
where I
just
just picked it up and said, "Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
First rock I've seen."
Looking everywhere for that thing, and she picks this rock up and says, "Is this it?"
Yep, that was the first rock. It was just
Don't-
kind of out of place to me.
Don't put rock caches in a pile of rocks.
You could be there for hours. I got
Oh.
lucky that day.
Yeah, you did. That was. You found a lot of them that I couldn't find. I'll tell you, people. How about freaking Stone Cold? Remember that one? That was in Troy. We went to get that, and we pulled up in a parking lot, and there was a sheriff's car sitting there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And it was a pizza place, and
That place was packed that
yeah,
day.
it was, and it was a lamp post.
Mm-hmm.
And we was worried about, this sheriff wanting to know what we're doing messing around there. But I think that was probably the first lamp post we found too, because we was looking at these pipes in the ground and everything
And in
else.
the bushes.
Yeah.
And,
So, as you find stuff, pay more attention to the people that place them out there. Because if you find somebody that's placing it, most of the time they put everything the same way.
right, it's like a pattern.
Yeah. And if you know what kind of pattern they use, you can find all of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's like this one down here, Snook. Oh, we were so aggravated at Snook. Because we couldn't find them. Well, after we did finally find a couple of them and seen what kind of caches he was using and what kind of containers he was using, we went back and started finding all the ones we couldn't find.
It got easier then.
Yeah. I've learned a lot from YouTube. Go to YouTube and search geocaching. You're going to find a lot of videos where people they're spoilers, what they are.
Mm-hmm.
Where they'll tell you, here, this geocache here, this is what this one looks like, and this is how most people hide it and stuff like that.
Oh, you can learn how to hide them, how to make them,
Right.
how some of them work. I mean, you can find all kinds of things on there about them.
I'd like to make one of them beehives out of paper mache
Yeah,
in a balloon.
yeah.
You blow up a balloon and you paste that thing down with paper mache, and after it dries, you stick a Well, you poke a hole in the bottom of it to where it popped the balloon. Then you got your hollow.
Right.
Looks like you paint it to make it look like a wasp nest.
Reminds me of the
bee's
maracas we
nest.
did in school.
Oh. Now you got a picture of one, but it's not a geocache.
No, it's actual beehive. See, and that's a scary thing too. Oh yeah, there's a geocache. Let's go stick our hand in. Oh no, that's a beehive. Give us a call and give us your stories. We could sure use them.
Yeah, give us a call. The phone number is 239-285-1574. And if you don't want to call, send us an email to mypodcastradio2018@gmail.com. And if you don't want to do that, you can send us a message to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/mypodcastradio. And there's 3 ways right there that you can get a hold of us. Send us your story. We've got to hear a story. We're running out of stories to tell to make everything interesting. But if you want to be on the podcast, tell your own story, call us and we'll set up some arrangements for that. Give a shout out to Paul.
Hi,
Paul's
Paul.
listening. Yep. James the Third.
I believe it is.
Yeah, James the Third. Yeah. Jeep and James, I think it was his name.
I think so.
Yeah, he might be listening in.
Millions of cashers. One story is all we need, please.
That's it. One story a week. Okay, well, we're going to end it here, and until next week, the same thing said.
Cash on.
Cash on.
And see ya.
See ya.